Hello and welcome back to our channel, Living in Pensacola. My name is Jamie Walker and behind the camera there is my father, Phil Baker. Together we live here in the Pensacola, Florida area, and we're gonna talk to you today about the pros and the cons of living here. Before we get started, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel if you find our videos are helpful or entertaining. Now, let's get right into the pros. Now, the first pro I have to mention is probably a given, but it's our beaches. That is a huge pro for why people move here, why they visit here. I mean, we have some of the most beautiful sugar white sand beaches in the entire world with tons of recreational opportunities. It's very family friendly and also quite small, so it's easy to get around. It feels quaint, it has that small town vibe. So of course, it's number one on the list. Now, number two on our pros for living in Pensacola list is obviously the outdoor recreation. Yes, that ties in with number one, but it has to be mentioned separately because there is just a huge variety and amount of different things to do outdoors in the Pensacola area. You've got biking, you've got hiking, maybe not quite mountainous hiking, but there's still hiking trails. You've got fishing, you've got tubing, kayaking, jet skiing, parasailing, you name it. If it's outdoors or on the water, you can do it here. And number three on our list, we cannot do a video about Pensacola without mentioning the history here, which runs a lot deeper than people probably realize. So a lot of people think that St. Augustine is the oldest city, but it's actually Pensacola. And while it didn't last very long because only about a year into the first settlement, it got destroyed by a hurricane, it is officially the oldest city. And so our history runs deep. And here I am standing in the Pensacola Historic Village where they do tours and reenactments about our history here. Next, we're going to talk about how affordable it is to live here compared to other places in the country of similar amenities and attractions. You might think that living near the beach, near the water here in Florida would be really, really expensive, but you would be surprised at what you can afford here, especially if you're moving in from other places. Your money can go a lot farther. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is the climate in Pensacola, Florida. Believe it or not, we actually do sort of have a mild climate here, and while our summers are really hot and humid, if you can't tell, it's already 90 degrees in May when we're filming this, but our winters are actually somewhat mild. We don't really get a whole lot of freezing temperatures here, and while we don't exactly experience all four seasons, we do have a nice winter, a little bit of a spring, a really nice long summer season, and we have a nice crisp fall season, which is my favorite time of year. Now that we've talked about some of the wonderful reasons to move or to visit Pensacola, Florida, let's talk about some of the reasons you might not want to. First, let's talk hurricanes. Now, hurricane season runs from June 1st to November 30th. And while we get plenty of warning that storms are coming, they still can be a little sketchy at times, but there's plenty of ways that you can prepare both your home and your person, your pets, your loved ones. And we definitely always recommend hurricane insurance and flood insurance, but there's lots of ways that you can keep yourself safe. And so while it is a factor that we just cannot deny here, it really shouldn't deter you from calling this place home. Now, the next thing I'm going to mention ties into climate, but I feel like it needs its own separate mention here because we have some of the highest humidity you will find in the country. And let me just say, if you don't like feeling like a swamp monster from like May to October, then maybe Pensacola is not for you. Now, something else that you'll often hear people from Florida really complaining about is the high insurance costs. Across the board, it sucks, but it is just a fact of life here. Home insurance is going to be higher, car insurance is going to be higher, and that is just because of the sheer amount of claims that have been made in the last 10 to 20 years here. You're so cute. Now, while you might pay a little bit more for insurance, remember that in the pros part of this video, we did mention the affordable cost of living. So for a lot of people, it's gonna balance out. Now, something else that a lot of people probably don't realize about the Pensacola, Florida area and the state of Florida in general is that we are the lightning capital of the world. Yes, unfortunately, we get a ton of lightning strikes here within our storms, and it has to do with our proximity to the water and the warm temperatures and just how storms develop. Are a lot of those fatal, or do they actually cause problems? No, not really. It's just kind of scary and noisy at times. Now, the last thing I want to mention about why Pensacola, Florida might not be a good place to call home, and that is our seasonal allergies. At least once a year for a week to a month's time, we get harassed by massive amounts of pollen. You'll see it on everything: cars, outdoor patio furniture. Literally everything will be covered in a thick layer of yellow dust. And while we do love the flowers that it brings, be prepared to spend some time on allergy medicine. The sun has come out. It is a gorgeous day here in Pensacola, Florida, and we want to say thank you for sticking with us throughout this whole video. We hope you've enjoyed this and you've learned something here today. If you have, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more videos like this, and if you want to know more about what it's like to move to the Pensacola, Florida area, you can send us an email, you can shoot us a text, or you can also schedule a Zoom. We would love to see you face to face. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you in the next video.